guys, welcome back. I know, it has been forever since I've done a foundation routine, so today I decided to test out the Stila Stay All Day Foundation. Quick little refresher in case you've missed any of my recent videos. I am now done Accutane. I've been done for a few months, and my skin has gone back to oily. I guess technically I would be combo because I'm not as oily as I was prior to taking Accutane, but I am quite oily in my T-zone again. I'm just not really oily on my cheeks, so I guess I'm kind of like oily T-zone, normal everywhere else. But I definitely have started getting oily again, so it's getting a little bit more interesting again to test out foundations for me because there's actually like signs of wear and like separation and things like that throughout the day instead of just like staying on perfectly like when my skin was dry. And just a quick reminder before we jump into it, all of my past foundation reviews will be linked in the description bar down below. So this foundation is $40 US or $52 Canadian, and you get the standard 1 ounce of product. Packaging has this kind of pump where you like press on it and the product dispenses in the middle. I'm gonna come right out and say it. I think the packaging is very unnecessarily bulky on this product. Like, it is gigantic. I would never pack this for traveling because it would take up like a quarter of my makeup bag. It's available in 10 different shades, and I have the shade Light, but it appears to be very, very yellow when I swatch it, so I'm assuming it's gonna be a bit too yellow for me personally. So to give you medium to full coverage with a natural matte finish and minimize the look of pores, fine lines, and other imperfections, and as the name implies, it is supposed to stay put all day. It's also oil-free and fragrance-free. Now that we know kind of what to expect, you guys know the drill, I'm gonna clip my hair back and we're gonna start applying it. So I prime my face lightly with the Stila One Step Correct. I didn't plan for it to both be Stila. This is just what I've been using lately. And I'm going to take like about a pump. Just gonna kind of like scrape that off and transfer it to the back of my hand. And as per usual, I'm going to do one half of my face with the Beauty Blender and then the other half with a brush. This is the Delium Tools 957. It's just like a flat top foundation brush. I'm gonna do the Beauty Blender first on this side of my face. Predicted, it does have a very strong yellow undertone. Just a little side note, I did receive this in a PR package, so I did not get to choose the shade. I don't know if they would have really a better option for me, but just word to the wise for my friends with neutral or pink undertones. The coverage is pretty decent. I'm definitely agreeing that it's more of a medium because it didn't cover everything, but it did a pretty good job, and I did only use about half the product that I pumped out. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side with the brush now. So I'm definitely liking the brush better. It gave me more of a full coverage effect, and it's less matte than the side with the Beauty Blender, which is pretty typical. It's got a nice kind of shine without being overly dewy, which you guys know I really like. I'm gonna take a little bit more product on the brush and just kind of build it up on this side where it didn't quite give me full coverage, just to even everything out. So I'm very pleased with the amount of product I had to use, even doing that little bit of extra building and bringing it down my neck generously. I only used about a pump and a half, maybe even a little bit less. So just once again, if you want a more medium coverage and matte finish, use the Beauty Blender, and if you want a fuller coverage with more of a natural finish, go for a brush. I do think both tools did a great job applying it though. It's not streaky or patchy at all. It looks very smooth and even. I do feel like it's starting to oxidize a little bit now, especially on this lower half of my face. It's getting darker on me. I do think it definitely did do a really great job covering my acne scarring, and I don't think it's doing too much to smooth my skin. Like, my pores and my acne scarring, like the textured acne scarring, look just about the same as they always do, but definitely not drawing any extra attention to it or making it look rough or anything like that. Saying I'm gonna do my close-up really quick, finish off my face makeup and my brows, and check in with you guys in a moment. Oh boy, you guys, I think that close-up will partially speak for itself with how much it was already starting to oxidize. And one thing I really want to stress is because sometimes when a foundation oxidizes on me, you guys say like, oh, it doesn't even look that bad. On camera, it doesn't look as bad, but it's always way worse in person. So just please keep that in mind if the final footage doesn't actually look like it oxidized that much. So it started oxidizing. I was like, okay, it's fine. Like, I'll just apply a lighter concealer. I can like balance this out and everything. And it looked fine when I started applying my concealer, but then it just kept getting darker and darker and darker and more orange. Like you can see I have concealer in here so it looks normal, but then all through here my skin looks like some weird skin colored sunset. It oxidized so badly. And also some of you guys may remember over the summertime there was a period where a lot of products were oxidizing on me, and I think in hindsight that was due to Accutane, because a lot of people told me like, oh, I had the same problem for like a couple months on Accutane, everything on me would oxidize, like even their favorite foundations. But I haven't had anything oxidize on me in a very long time, so I was not expecting this. Anyways though, for those of you who are curious, I use the MAC Select Moisture Cover Concealer and then RCMA No Color Powder. It's just, there's such a distinct difference between like here and here. This part of my face looks so orange. And what I did, I pumped out a little bit of foundation before I did my concealer and everything, and I let it dry on my hand, and you can see, like, look how orange that is. I'm gonna pump out some fresh product and swatch it next to that other swatch on my hand so you guys can see the difference. That is the fresh product, and that is what it looked like after about 10 minutes while I did my brows and everything while it oxidized. That's like worse than the Urban Decay All Nighter foundation, honestly, and I'll do a close-up of this to compare to. I'm so bummed about this, you guys. I was really liking the finish and the coverage so far, and this is the second lightest shade, so even if I went to the lightest shade with this level of oxidation, it would probably be too dark for me. Definitely dried to more of a matte finish though, but not totally transfer proof. Even when it was fully set, a little bit of product picked up on my fingertips. But we're gonna roll with it for the day and try and make it work. Thank God for bronzer and contour, but I'm gonna do another close-up, finish off the rest of my makeup, and I will be checking in with you guys a few times throughout the day. I've had this foundation on for 7 hours now. I went and got a haircut in that time. Not that you can tell because I always get the same thing done to my hair. But I'm really bummed out about this product, you guys. I love the finish of it. Honestly, I think it looks really beautiful on my skin, especially now that some time has gone by. But the amount that it oxidized is just so ridiculous. And yes, I ended up making it look okay. My face is definitely very dark, but I mean, obviously you just want a foundation that matches you right off the bat. But it looks really nice. Like even after a short amount of time, I feel like it was a little bit less matte. It kind of took on more of the finish it had when I first applied it, like with the brush. I am getting a bit shiny on my nose, and it's kind of separating in the creases of my nose where I am getting oily. But aside from that, I think it actually looks really nice, which pains me to say because it just got so dark and so ridiculously orange. It wasn't like it oxidized like a half a shade darker. It was like quite a few shades and like also very orange at the same time. I also forgot to mention it feels so light on my skin, like it's a product that I would honestly forget that I have on. So I'm really bummed out and kind of torn. I feel like it is potentially a really good product if you can find a shade though, but I think that's where I'm gonna leave it for now. I'm gonna check in with you guys once more at the end of the day. All right, so it has been a full 12 hours now, and you guys, I really have nothing bad to say about this foundation aside from the color. Like if it hadn't oxidized, I would really be sitting here raving about this, like singing this foundation's praises, because I like pretty much everything else about it. It applied well, the coverage is good, I think the finish is beautiful, maybe a little bit more shiny than I would like at the end of the day. The one negative, like I said earlier, is that it has creased into my nose a little bit, but even like my Tarte Rainforest of the Sea foundation does that. Most foundations will, unless I'm like actively taking steps to prevent that, which you guys know I don't do during first impressions. Also, one thing I should mention, while I think I made the color look okay, there are areas, like especially in here, where it's just like darker and kind of blotchy looking, but I don't think that'll pick up on camera. I don't know, I'm literally so bummed that this oxidized so much, you guys. Like honestly, I would say if you can find a shade that actually matches you and you're into more kind of natural looking foundations that still give you good coverage like I am, I would highly recommend this. I think what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to try this when I have a little bit more of a tan and see if I can make it work then, because I would absolutely love to make it work, and I'm about to go on a trip. I'll actually be on the trip by the time you guys are watching this. So hopefully I'll get a little bit of a tan and I can test it out again when I get back and see what I think. And maybe I'll see if I could get a sample of it in Fair and see if that works a little bit better. But like I said earlier, I'm doubtful that it would. I just feel like it's really beautiful. Like I feel like the finish is so nice. My skin looks kind of like fresh. Even at the end of the day, it's just, it's such like, I honestly feel like it's such a perfect foundation in nearly every other way, and I'm so disappointed. But once again, if you can find a shade in you, go get samples for sure. I wouldn't recommend just buying it right off the bat. Try and get samples and see what you think, or buy it somewhere where you can like exchange it. I'm gonna have to play around and experiment, and I will update you guys in future videos, like in my first impressions updates and everything like that. But those are my thoughts on the Stila Stay All Day foundation. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to check the description bar for all of my past foundation reviews. Go follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. I am at SARI Rihanna on all three, and hit that subscribe button down below if you are new here. But I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye guys.